Hey, it's the People Station V-103. Welcome to our V-103 Black Music Month series brought to you by Peach State Health Plan. I am your host, Big Tigger, and we want you to tune in all month long for our celebration of Black Music Month with in-depth interviews and performances for some of your favorite artists. Now, I want you to trust Peach State Health Plan with your family's health. You understand me? They have benefits you can really use, and that's really important these days and times. And make it all a part of your plan.
At Peach State Health Plan, we get you. With our Medicaid coverage, we get you access to a large network of doctors, so you can get the care you need close to home. We get you vision, dental, and mental health coverage, so you can get the whole health benefits you need. We get you dollar rewards for healthy activities and free memberships to family programs, so you can take care of your family's health for less. Get Medicaid you can count on from Peach State Health Plan.
Now, to get into what we are absolutely about to do, I have the absolute pleasure to introduce to you the man, the myth, the legend, the man who made, he made the urban hang suite, people. Do you understand me? Maxwell is our guest. What up, brother?
What up, fam? How are you, man?
I am great. Always good to see you. You been good?
Yeah, I'm grateful.
Yeah.
I sit here with gratefulness and
Amen.
gratitude and happy, that the world is somewhat coming back together. Happy to be on the road and
Right.
to bring joy the same joy that I see in the faces I get myself. So it's good,
Definitely good. 25, going on 26 years ago, you delivered this thing that made me first aware of you and that people have loved, cherished, and still bang every day till today.
Yes.
Urban Hang Suite. What is it like to look back over that last quarter century and be like, yeah, I did this, and it's still relevant, it's still moving, it's still a piece, a part of the patchwork of our culture?
Wow, that's a huge, huge compliment, and I can't thank you enough, and I can't thank. I don't want to go into interview mode, you know what I'm saying? But I just really want to really stress the point that when that album came out, it wasn't what you think about it now is not how people felt about it when they first got it on their table.
Really?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I think I debuted at, I don't know what, I don't really look at charts really, but I don't know, it was just kind of like, yeah, damn, I hope this works out. But to see it grow and to see people discover it, and then to also, know that, there was Leon Ware in there and, one of my all-time, it's Leon Ware. He wrote I Want You and gave it to Marvin Gaye. And then, God rest his soul, he passed away. I had the fortunate opportunity to be able to speak to him just days before he, went back to the Lord. And, we have Wawa Watson, of course, Stuart Matthewman from Sade, and my boy Hot David. We wrote Pretty Wings together, and we still write together. I mean, I pretty much stay with the same people.
Right.
Which can be great and sometimes a little challenging for people because they're like, hey, the sounds are changing now, man. You need to do this. But, I got to do me, and I'm just grateful that a lot of people just allowed that to happen. Right. I have to really thank a lot of women for making that happen.
No, they thank you every time it comes on.
Because I know a lot of, yeah. Thank you, ladies, for buying the album and making your boyfriends or your husbands come to the show when they clearly don't want to be there. Some do, but a lot of them don't. So, but yeah. So I'm just grateful for that. It's something that I never thought could ever happen, and it did, and it still is doing its thing, and I'm grateful for it.
Well, I like to draw parallels between kind of the way that the world became aware of Maxwell in that first album. In the same way that they came aware of Jill Scott. It wasn't like this big promotional thing. People just kept playing it and saying, hey, did you hear? Did you hear? And I remember the first time somebody brought up your album, I was like, I never heard it. And when I cut it on, and as soon as it was like, bam, 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 I was like, oh, this is okay. This is what we doing. And then just, the ride that you took us on with, the love songs and I mean, man, till the cops came. I mean, come on, the cops knocked. I felt that.
But it was weird because it wasn't what was happening really,
Right.
and I remember feeling like, wow, you know, I hope this works out for radio or radio people. I would always hear how it could be if we did a little this more, a little that more, and it's just. But for me, that wasn't the point. The point was I had a vision, I had a concept. Uh, Glory be to God. I was signed. I was supposed to just be signed as a writer, but Mitchell Cohen was like, I would like to make this happen as an artist, and I had to think about that for a minute because, watching how things can go when you're in the public eye. You're loved, then you're vilified, then you're loved again, and then you're analyzed and scrutinized, you're gossiped about. But then, real truth, that really doesn't matter because at the end of the day, it touched people.
Right.
I hear people, they had their children to certain songs. I mean, I say all this because I just want anyone out there who's thinking about doing anything like this or making music to just stick with the faith and the belief of whatever they're doing. I think people can detect conviction immediately.
Okay.
And especially black folks.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you believe in it, then you can really truly convince people. You look at all the great entrepreneurs that we have who started out with an idea. You look at Tyler Perry, Medea, that was like on stage.
Right.
And now he basically bought the entire part of Atlanta
Right.
and has created an amazing studio. But he had a faith and he had a belief. And some people didn't believe in it, but he believed enough in what he was trying to do that he convinced people and it was contagious. So to all the people out there who are going to do that, just stay in your belief about what you do.
Keep pushing. You've kept it pushing. We are finally getting the third installment of this trilogy. I like to make fun about it because when he first told me, I was like, I think you first told me it was going to be like every 2 years.
Well, it was supposed to be every year.
Okay, it was every year.
Yeah.
Fast forward.
Fast forward 15 years later.
We're finally getting the third when?
Summerish.
Okay, summerish, which is a good word with the
yes.
title of the. Okay.
I mean, yeah, it's coming. I'm getting adjusted. I'm rusty. Getting out on the road. It takes a minute. To kind of really understand. Wow, we can be this close. Like, even though we have COVID protocols all throughout, it's a bit of a culture shock. But I'm getting into it. Like, it's starting to flow a little bit better, and I'm just grateful for the people who come through. I'm very honored to share the space with Joe and Anthony Hamilton. I'm a huge fan of what they do. We're just 3 black men trying to celebrate the women and celebrate love and celebrate the culture, pretty much in a pleasant, loving, way.
Okay. You took me somewhere else now with that answer. I like it. One of my good friends had a comment the other day about the current state of R&B music. Neil said something to the effect of women, if you continue to support music that calls you out of your name, B's and H's, then people will continue to make that type of music. If you celebrate it, they'll keep calling you that and they'll keep doing that. He also is going as far as saying lots of people are going to say R&B is not quite R&B anymore. What is your thought? How do you feel about the current state of R&B and the music it's putting out? Does it feel like R&B to you, or is it just evolved?
I mean, for me, it is. I don't feel like it's my place to tell a generation what they should be doing, because if that's what they were trying to do to me when I was, in my early 20s and so. But yeah, obviously things evolve and change, and sometimes they're not agreeable to people. But everybody gets their shot, and everybody gets their chance at their say. And if the culture the present culture feels like this is how they want to express themselves, then, who am I to stop them from doing so? My responsibility is to what I put out.
Right.
You know what I mean? If I put something out, then I got to hold the bag on that. So I can't really, and I say this because it's not like I'm looking to feature with people, and I don't want to say the wrong thing and get someone mad, because I really don't need to feature with anyone.
Tell them.
You know what I'm saying? Like, real talk, no
Facts.
disrespect. It's not ego. That's not what I'm speaking respectfully about your time. Your time is yours. Do it as you want. I had my time to do what I had to do, and I'm looking forward to the other generations that will probably maybe even bring it right back around in another way, But I don't want to be the guy who is complaining about what people are doing, whatever. Now, they do what they do. Right. I do what I do. Neo has written the most amazing songs in the world. I still listen to his album. I mean, he's a beast writer. And so much respect for his work, and he literally changed other people's careers with his songs. Rihanna, just
Beyonce.
Yeah, Beyonce. I mean, they're obviously amazing artists, both of them, and their work ethic is insane, especially Beyonce's. I mean, it's like, I've never seen nothing like this. It's like, do you sleep? Like, are there two of you?
Right.
Like, what's happening? But yeah, I mean, but one thing I will say is that I think this generation is very clear about the songs that we did, because I see some of them sample some of them, and certain, they name check things, or they, I think Ty Dolla $ign and Division did a song and my name's in it. I mean, for me, that's like an honor. I mean, they're like 20 something, and they're like, even know I did stuff. So I just come from it. I come to it with like a positive sense of like, you know what, let them flow, let them do what they need to do. I mean, we all did things in our 20s that we would never do again. So,
That being said, are there any of the newer artists that you are fans of or would love to, do a feature with?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's Snow Allegra, there's Jasmine Sullivan, top for me. There's Ari Lennox, there's Summer Walker, obviously Division, Daniel Daly, 1985. I mean, but then there's, Jermaine. I mean, he's still putting out hits. I mean, Precious, like, that's him still.
Yes, sir.
This is years later.
Right.
And he's able to have his finger on the pulse. Obviously, there's Janet. Man, there's a lot of people. And I might be able to do that now that I'm free.
Hi, owner of own label.
Yes. But and not to throw salt on Columbia, because Columbia was like literally the Harvard of record companies. So and they did support something that was very different. They could have been a little bit like, hey, we need you to do this. And I know a lot of artists. Let me give you a story. I won't say the name. Okay. But one artist said to me, hey, I got signed to this particular label, and they told me, you got 2 songs that we need to get to be R&B. We need to get that audience to like you. And then after that, you need to go pop or it's over.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like that. And so for me, I sit in a place of absolute, when I say I'm grateful, I called my shots. Like, no one told me what records to do or what records not to do, or like, they literally just were like cool with it. And the fact that I could just even have 5 or 6 or 7 years away, and to have not only the audience, but to have the support from that label at the time,
right,
said a lot, But I'm just, again, I'm just grateful that I got to do it my way, make my mistakes, learn. I don't know whatever it was. It was very different, very different than what I've seen other people do. But I am kind of a stubborn person, and I do believe in artistic integrity. And I also want to leave music behind that can be sung at 60s, 70s. I don't want to do stuff where I look stupid singing it when I'm like a certain age, which I'm clearly that age now. So, that was the goal.
I give one of my favorite things to bring up about Max, you and your music. I'm talking about you like you're not here. Is Maxwell you had the gumption, if you will, to say things that when you sang them didn't sound offensive. Because I'm sure if any one man walked into an establishment and walked up to a woman and said, "Let me break you off a little something, something," he might get slapped. But when he hit him with the falsettos, particularly on the mellow smooth.
Wow, yeah. And it's funny, I did that by myself.
What, mellow smooth?
Well, let me give you just the background on it.
Okay.
So I signed my deal in 94. The album was done in 95.
Okay.
It was on the shelf for a year. So I had free time. So I started just making remixes of some of the songs that were on the album. And then when it was released, and then things started to bubble, and you guys in Atlanta made it pop off, and people in Chicago and people in various locations.
Right.
When the Love Jones soundtrack came up, they were like, "Yo, do you have something for us? They really want to include you." And who would have known, man, that Love Jones soundtrack would have been that soundtrack. You know, it's funny. I was at Barclays, and Nia Long was, watching the game as well, and the whole thing was so faded and beautiful. I look back at it, and it's just like, there were hard times, like sleepless nights and, bumpy buses to small little venues, microphones not working, two people in the audience, who knows? But it's to be part of that soundtrack was just amazing because it was like Lauren's on there, and then you got like, it was just like kind of the most amazing Black love soundtrack to ever come through. And you see so many versions of Love Jones that people make, even to this day, because it's such an amazing feat. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how that happened. We just said, let me like slow down something. And then, and we did it. And then I'm grateful that I was part of that, Lauryn Hill, sweetest thing I've ever known.
I mean, that soundtrack perfectly complemented the movie and vice versa. And that's why I think they tied together eternally. Like, the movie was great, and then the soundtrack was like, so it was just, it enhanced it even further.
And the other thing that was awesome was to see Black people, to see us, like, in a totally different light. Like, these were, like, college-y, sort of, like, what you would call uppity. I don't think being, intelligent mean uppity, But it was just a really nice way to see us framed.
Right. Black Music Month. I don't want to say Black History Month. What do you see the future of Black music?
I think it's always going to be in the soul, blues, soul, R&B. I mean, all the runs of pentatonic scales. I was watching Summer of Soul, right? Questlove, Amir. He put that together, and it was just, I cried. I cried when I watched that, because there's a particular quote in that movie where it says in 1969 that was the year that the Negro died, but Black was born. Because that was a decade that was a very tumultuous decade for us. And when I see Mahalia Jackson up there, and then I see Mavis Staples, and I see David Ruffin, and 300,000 Black people in Harlem in the park, some of them on the trees, Sly. It's just, for me, that's what really makes me proud about being a part of this community. Is it's that little melody in the head of every marginalized person that gets you through the day. And I can't even imagine what the experience of being Black was like at that time.
Right.
I mean, it's dangerous now, but it was really dangerous then.
It was dangerous on lots of different levels.
Yeah.
It's
dangerous now,
Facts.
too.
Right.
But it's definitely, to see people push through all that hardship and to make a joyful noise like that.
Right.
It's you can't beat that.
Well, you're more than just a member of this community, sir. You're part of the fabric of it. I love to, we say give flowers is our term these days, and your flowers are long overdue and well deserved. And I say that not because I'm your friend, but because before I even knew you, I wore a hole in that CD. That was my thing. The Urban Hangs With, Please Believe Me, and he's been consistently doing what he's been doing for the last 25 years. So
And you too? You've been
yeah,
doing that?
this ain't about me, but thank you. I appreciate it. I will receive that. Make sure you go see this man on tour alongside Anthony Hamilton and Joe. Summer-ish. You should be checking out this sometime around now. You should be getting this third installation of the trilogy.
I hope they like it. I hope you guys enjoy it. And he puts 15 years into that, so
15 people, and I've been on them all 15. Like, dude, with a record.
I know. But I got to be honest. I like to live, man. I mean, I don't want, time is so precious, and like I don't want to make my life be all about, entertaining people all the time. And you grow older, and you get, there's different facets to, a person's personality. I mean, music is definitely, my life, but it's not my soul really completely. I mean, there are issues that I care about. Obviously, I'm working with the Black Promoters Collective, which is amazing. It's like we every time we go to a city, we actually like bring things to that city. Jobs, opportunities,
Right.
books to schools, and it's not really just a color thing. It's just a question of just like balancing. It's like restoring the balance,
Right.
So that's a joy for me. That's kind of why this tour is happening, because we're the first ones to go out with the BBC, and I think other people, I probably can't even tell you who else is going to be doing the same kind of thing, but
Right.
there's a bunch of people coming through, and so it's another way to support Black-owned businesses and keep people fed and keep people happy and smiling.
Amen. Y'all show this man love. Give him a lot of love. His name is Maxwell. Thank y'all for being here as part of our Black Music Month celebration. It's going down. Shout out to Peach State Health Plan, ladies and gentlemen. They are one of the reasons that this is happening. He is Maxwell. I am Big Tig. This is V-103.